Let's do this.
It's time for Hanging with Langan.
I like that she's got a big dirty mouth that gets her in trouble.
Wow.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
Hey you guys, it's me, Maureen Langan. You are hanging with Langan. I'm so excited. I'm going to bring a guest on in a moment. She is Sherri Franklin. She is the founder, the CEO of Muttville Senior Rescue in San Francisco. But her message about senior rescue dogs is important across the fruited plain. It's not just a message for San Francisco. It's a message for New York City, Parsippany, New Jersey, Poughkeepsie. It's a message for the world. She was one of the CNN heroes. You know how they have their top 10 of the year? She was one of them. I'm so excited for her. But before I bring her on, I want to tell you a little story about my rescue, my baby. This is Rocket Man. A lot of you know about Rocket Man. 15-year-old Havanese, when he was taken to Muttville Senior Rescue by his wonderful dog walkers who said, please don't euthanize him for the owner. Please, please let us get him into a senior rescue. We beg of you. He was old. He was, doing a little of the peeing on the floor. They got diapers. They got, I'm going to need Depends one day. These were doggy Depends. That's all it is. That's all it is. Little sudden bladder leakage. And the little fella, God love him, I would put pee pads by the door and leave the door open so he could go out in the backyard. This is when I was living in California. God love this poor little love, this macho little Cuban Havanese would always go outside. And the few times I forgot to open the door, the pee pads were there, and that's where he went. So all he needed was a little extra tender love and care. This little boy, I'm telling you, I got him at 15. He lasted 13 months with me. I had him until he was 16. I should say we, because it was the Sicilian and I. He went everywhere. This boy was spoiled. We took him to, Doris Day, God rest her soul. Doris Day has a doggy hotel. Dogs are welcome. Dogs come before people, as it should be. And we took him there to the Doris Day. It's in Carmel, New York. And he enjoyed a glass. I got him some white wine. I don't think he likes red. I like the red. The Sicilian's holding him up. You could see the head, this little head there, propping him up. But look at that beautiful boy. I was so lucky. And I thank Sherri Franklin. Sherri Davies, a comedian. Sherri Franklin, because she brought him to my attention and so many other dogs. So now I'm going to bring her to your attention. And if you have any questions about senior rescues, anything specific to senior dogs, just want to make a comment, you do it right here. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sherri Franklin.
Hi, Maureen. How are you?
You're one of my favorite people in the world. I hope you know that.
Well, I miss you here in California, that's for sure.
Thank you. Well, I get back a lot. I perform there. I'm going to be there August 28th. I have a gig in San Rafael, so California. Yeah, Wednesday's Gift. That's an organization that helps people like you do. So you have done so much. Tell us what Muttville is. For people who do not know, tell them what Muttville is.
Sure. Well, Muttville started in 2007, and I just want to say that 2 weeks ago, we just saved our 9,000th senior dog. So that's pretty amazing. The truth is that when I started Muttville in 2007, I'd been taking home old dogs from shelters for a long time because they were getting euthanized. And they were getting euthanized just because they were older. And people only wanted to adopt puppies from the animal shelter. So I started doing this, and I realized there's just such a huge hole in the whole animal rescue world that I started a senior dog rescue here in San Francisco. And I wasn't sure if we would save any dogs or if I could find homes for them. I knew we could save them. And it really has opened my eyes to the best side of humans. So Muttville is a senior dog rescue. We take dogs in 7 and older, mostly from municipal shelters where they usually sit on death row. We also take in senior dogs from people that have passed away. Mm-hmm. We take in dogs from, like all different reasons. But the truth is that we've made senior dogs sexy. That's what I like to say.
But okay, so before I want to get to some of the dogs and how they're living at Muttville because it's freaking amazing. But when you started to save them, what was the first time you went, I got to save this dog? What was your first time? Because you didn't start having this big organization, this warehouse that has so much going on, and a dog home and building. So the first day that you said, I got to do something, what was that day like?
Well, it was a really sad day actually for me because I was new to the volunteer world in the animal shelters, and this was going back over 20 years ago. And the first day I started, this dog came in, and she was about 7. She was really waggy and happy, and her name was Heidi. And she was like a hound, basset hound mix with a beagle maybe. So, I started going in not just once a week, but almost every single day to walk her because I had seen her come in and she had been given up by an elderly gentleman that couldn't care for her anymore. And at first she was so happy and she would wag and get so excited when I came there. And then one day, things started, she didn't get up as much and she didn't seem as happy as much. And, over a 2-week period, I watched as she got very sad. And then I came in one day and she wasn't there. And I thought, that's so great. She got adopted and I was so thrilled by that. But guess what? She was euthanized that day. And at the time, I really didn't know, I didn't know how things worked at the animal shelter. And that was really the day I decided I needed to do something. I didn't know much about anything. I didn't know anything about nonprofits. I just knew that I had to start doing something. So I started in her name. And to this day, it's like I still remember her being happy. And there was no reason she wasn't adopted except that she was a little bit older.
So from that day, I'm speaking with Sherri Franklin, and she is the CEO, the founder of Muttville in San Francisco. But this pertains to this message about saving seniors and the value of senior dogs. And she's going to show us some dogs in a bit. So this is really cool. So this dog, you can pick one up. Let's see who you have. You have someone there?
Somebody's snoring, and it's not me.
All right. Well, we'll wait till he or she wakes up.
You're going to see that I have a penchant for white, fluffy dogs at my house.
Who is this?
This is Snowball. And Snowball came from the Peninsula Humane, where they found that she had a tumor or a mass near her heart, and they weren't going to put her up for adoption, which means... So we said, of course, we would take her, and she's my foster dog right now.
You have so many foster dogs.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's about 9 years old, and she sleeps right up by my head. So in the middle of the night, if I need some comforting, I pat her a little bit. She's not up for adoption yet. Today she saw the cardiologist because when we get our dogs, we really do thorough exams before they go into homes. So hopefully we're gonna be able to get her into her own home instead of mine, so that she'll get one-on-one love.
Now you'll find out her medical condition and whether she'll be labeled up for adoption or a hospice dog.
Hospice adoption, like what you did, which is something really special. Like people that do that are very special to me. So you're very special.
No, but hospice dog. Of course, the name connotes somebody literally on death's door, about to pass over, which it could mean, right? And giving that dog a loving home for a week or a month. Mm-hmm. So we thought when we took Rocket Man home that we would have him for a month, maybe 6 weeks. Well, the little son of a bitch hung out with us for 13 months. And, I was traveling. I was out of town the day he had to go. And the Sicilian was with him, my partner. And I said, this is what you must do. And it was time, like it was. I said, you must go get my running jacket because that will have my strongest scent. I can't even talk about this. And I said, you must wrap it around him. So he knows I'm with him.
That's right.
You don't want him to feel abandoned, and I just wanted to be with them. Listen, this is ridiculous. I get so emotional because you love them, and they're going to be discarded if it weren't for you bringing them into your world. So I'm so grateful that I met you because you gave so much love to me through him.
That's beautiful. I think there's there's a special bond that you have with the little dog. I'm kind of bonding with her at the moment.
You think?
She's leaning into me. But, we do this hospice program, and I do believe in euthanasia, and I believe that euthanasia for humans and for dogs can be a beautiful thing to end suffering. But a lot of dogs come in to Muttville, and maybe they have cancer, it's inoperable, but they don't know it. They're as happy as can be, they aren't in pain, and I would never euthanize a dog that was still enjoying life. And that's where the hospice adoption comes in.
And tell me who we're holding right now.
We're holding Snowball, who's falling. I'm telling you, she was snoring down there. I had to pick her up because she was going to start reverberating over the microphone.
So when you find out when she gets her full vet, everything back, you'll find out how extensive this heart tumor is. Mm-hmm. Whether medication will keep her alive for a couple years, a few years. How old is she now?
I think she's about 9 or 10. She actually has a ton of energy. So, and she shows she's not slowing down. So it'll be interesting to hear what the vet actually says, in his report today.
And what I want people to understand, if she is labeled a hospice dog, we don't know she could. They tell us how long they're going to live. I mean, we don't know.
Yes, they do tell us. I believe that.
What I like that you did, because the idea of taking a hospice dog home was scary. You have a support network for those who want to take home a hospice dog. Talk about that, because I think it's magic.
Well, I think most hospice families, once they do it once, they tend to do it again. I mean, if you were still living here, you might even decide to do something like this again. And we all support each other. And I'm getting feedback. Are you okay over there?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. But we really check in. We have our veterinarians that actually are part of the program, who are always there to answer questions, talk quality of life. We also pay for all palliative care for your hospice dog. So when it does come to that time, or if they have an ear infection or anything like that, Muttville actually will cover the cost of pain meds and, things to just make the dog feel more comfortable.
It is freaking amazing. What Sherri Franklin of Muttville has done is you're partnered with a certain number of vets. Even the groomer will even take care of them before you take them home. And so when Rocket would get ill, I went to one of the partner vets, and they just helped keep him healthy to the best of his ability at that age. So somebody like myself as a performer, maybe I couldn't have put that kind of money out. And because of these angels helping me take care of it, it's incredible, just incredible. So the idea, now if somebody was looking at Snowball right now, once the paperwork's all in, somebody could fly across the country and go get her.
Yeah, they could. We have people that fly in from Canada, from Alaska, from Washington State, New York. We have Muttville dogs all over this country. But also, you check your local shelter. It's not just Muttville. When I started it, there were only 2 places in the country that were really rescuing or focusing on senior dogs. And now there's a senior dog rescue near you, I'm sure, so that you don't actually have to fly into San Francisco. You can find one in your own neighborhood or in your own city.
So, cool. That is the message, because I want to ask you, what is the misnomer that people have about senior dogs? Why are they reluctant to take care of them?
Well, I think one of the main reasons might be that they don't know what kind of health issues they might have. And that's something that a lot of senior rescues now, senior dog rescues are now, doing a lot more health checkup beforehand, which is something that we've always done. And that they aren't going to last long, or that you're going to be really sad when they go because you won't have them from a puppy on. You're going to be sad no matter how old that dog is when he or she leaves this planet. But the truth is, when you go into this and you're looking at adopting an older dog, you go in knowing that your time might be limited. And you enjoy, and they teach you how to enjoy every single moment to the fullest. These older dogs have taught me so much.
Sherri, you say I know because the idea of taking home a hospice dog, just the concept of it is frightening, but the reality wasn't. The concept of it was, and I was just going to see your facility because you were a regular on my KGO radio show in San Francisco, Hang with Langan, and you'd come in with a dog or two, and we always had a hoot. So you said, you got to come see the facility in San Francisco. And you guys, I'm telling you, this is a warehouse with half of it filled with more supplies than you've ever seen humanly possible. Because they're going to make sure you have a bed and a leash and these bowls, whatever you might need there, because people have donated so much. And then the other half, you have 5 floors, I think, where you have a kitchen. They're preparing 3 floors. Okay, well, it looks big. Yeah. And you have living rooms, and like you have the barn doors for like Mr. Ed for the office. In and out, they're walking all over. They're just
it's fun. When we found a place to move into, and by the way, I have big news because we just bought a campus of 3 buildings that we're going to be we're doing fundraising for. We're going to own our own forever home. So we are working towards that. But the truth is that Muttville started out of my house. And when we moved to our shelter, we wanted to welcome all of these older dogs and not have them go into a cage or a kennel, but have them feel a sense of home from the moment they get to Muttville. They can relax. Imagine a lot of them have been in shelters for months. They get to Muttville, there's sofas everywhere. It's very home-like for them. And there's a lot of socializing going on. There's a lot of volunteers. Everybody's petting, washing, grooming, leashing up dogs and taking them for walks. It is sort of like a Disneyland for dogs in a sense. And then we put them into foster homes as well. But the truth is that we really, truly believe that the only way to keep a dog really adoptable is not to put them in a cage or a kennel, but to actually give them the opportunity to be a dog before they get into their new home.
Well, when you asked me to come, I wanted to come see the facility, the warehouse. I called it because it's half warehouse and half 3 floors and there's a big kitchen, and your guys are making food, and the whole thing. It's like Santa's elves in the hip building in San Francisco. That's a good way of putting it. And I remember seeing Rocket. It was the day or 2 after Christmas, and he looked so sad and just kind of sleeping in the corner by himself, because he had just gotten there. All these happy dogs are running around, and I think he was just like, okay, I need a minute, guys. And all these dogs, it was just hysterical. They're coming up to you. And I liked him, and then I came back, and he just walked up to me in my second visit. He just So you said you want to foster him. I said, all right, I'll foster him until somebody adopts him. And then you laughed when I called you. I go, I can't give this boy back. You go, I knew it.
Well, we call them foster wins now, but so many people during COVID have started fostering dogs, and I think 11% of our foster homes end up adopting their foster dog. Maybe not their first one, but one of their foster dogs they'll bring home, and they're like, I can't give this one up. This is going to be my dog. So
you got a lot of that, you said?
Yeah, 11% of our adoptions are foster wins.
So what I want to know, though, Sherri, you were a CNN hero. That was so cool.
That was really cool. And I got a little peck on the cheek from Anderson Cooper.
I love Anderson Cooper.
Come on. Who can beat that?
Oh, love him. What I'm going to do, tell people, and I'm going to bring you back, and this is my little commercial break. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. How can people support Muttville?
Well, first of all, if you live in the Bay Area, think about fostering a dog or volunteering. We really need foster homes right now, especially during COVID, when we're trying to thin out the shelter. We are looking for donors like crazy, especially now that we bought a San Francisco space in the Mission that's going to be our forever home. So muttville.org, there's a lot of information. We are here to serve our community, and we'd love to hear from you at muttville.org.
Okay, I'm going to put that there. It's muttville.org. Sherri Franklin. I'm going to come right back with Sherri and Snowball, who will be up for adoption soon. So cute. Don't let her go anywhere. All right. So that's Sherri Franklin. I want to let you guys know I have some gigs coming up. Very excited. Friday, August 6th, I will be at the Bedford Playhouse in Bedford, New York. It's going to be wonderful, just under the stars, all of that happy stuff outdoors. I will be August 7th in my beloved Garden State of New Jersey, Old York Cellars in Ringgoes, New Jersey. You got to go. I'm telling you, it is so fantastic. You're going to feel like you're in Napa in New Jersey. Yeah, don't believe me? Check it out. And then I have another gig. I have a bunch of gigs. Go to my new website. I've updated it, maureenlangan.com, LANGAN.com. Everything's there. But I also want to let you know, just like Muttville is supported by people like you, Hanging with Langan is supported by your support at PayPal or Venmo. This is what we do. It's all listener supported. Again, you can go to Venmo at Mo Langan or PayPal at Mo Langan. But an even better way, if you're so inclined, this is a really good way to support. I have something called Patreon. And people say, Maureen, what's Patreon? Well, Patreon is just, it's a website for performers, artists, where you subscribe starting at $5 a month, and then you get all kinds of different treats at different levels. So beginning at something as simple as the Carol Burnett level, for $5, you'll get all the video episodes, because all the audio of Hanging with Langan goes on all the major platforms, Apple, Spotify, all of that. But the video only goes on Patreon. It's live here on Facebook and YouTube, but then it goes on to Patreon. $10, you'll get bonus backstage stuff, other postings. And at $25, Phyllis Diller, I'll send you a Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirt, because you don't want to hate people. They make you hate them. We're victims. And you can go as high up to 1,000 or more if you want. What we do then is you can have a virtual happy hour, put together a comedy show for you with other national headliners. So different things at different levels. You can be a sponsor or a producer of the show. So those are the things that support the show. And for you, those of you who already do, I thank you. And if you don't want to do a monthly subscription, even though I know you do, you can go to maureenlangan.com. I have a store, and you can get any Don't Make Me Hate You merchandise right there. Just go to the store. And I also do a lot of corporate hosting and all those happy things and keynote speaking. But there was one other thing I want to tell you, that my special Don't Make Me Hate You comedy special will be out soon. So I'm going to keep you posted on that. Very excited. And those watching in the Bay Area, because I know a lot of you know me and I know you from when I was working in San Francisco, please go to my website. I will be in San Rafael. Wednesday's Gift is an organization that just helps people. Maybe it's an older person who needs a car ride to the doctor. These people, I believe, are all in recovery. So they're doing so many good things for other people, and I want to support them. And that will be August 28th. It's a Saturday night, so I hope we see you there. Now I'm going to bring back Sherri Franklin of Muttville. We'll talk a few more. Oh my God, with Snowball. Oh, I can't take it. Look at that girl is in love with you. How many do you have in your home at any one time, Sherri?
I usually have like 7 to 10 dogs here. And that's because of COVID right now, because we've really tried to thin out the actual shelter of having too many dogs spend the night, just trying to keep our staff, healthy. And we've made, what we did like the first week of COVID even is we had 91 dogs, and we got them all in foster homes within 48 hours. So we've been trying to sort of steer people into fostering dogs, and then they get adopted through the foster homes.
Did you try to scare or steer? Did you say scare? Scare people into it. So what are you thinking too about now? I'm worried. I wonder what you're seeing now that people are going back to work. I'm wondering that all these dogs of all ages that have been adopted or bought, what's going to happen to them? Because people during the pandemic said, Maureen, are you going to go, why don't you get a new dog? And I said, not yet. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot that are going to need homes coming down the pipe. What do you think?
So we at Muttville, we have not noticed an uptick even a little bit. We have the same average returns as we always have. None of them seem to be because people are going back to work, but I think that's also because we really drill down when we adopt out dogs about the commitment and what's going to happen when you go back to work. How's that going to work for you? But we are starting to notice that the shelters are reaching out and saying they are completely full and they need their senior dogs out immediately, but I think they're filling up with a lot of puppies. and younger dogs right now. And I think a lot of people that got younger dogs, especially puppies, are now realizing how much work that is. I mean, a younger dog, I just can't say enough about old dogs. Old dogs can they're grateful, they fit right into your home, they're just easier. And you get these young puppies, and it takes a lot to get them to that place. But once they're at that place, it's great. But I think a lot of people are now going back to work and going, oh my God, I've got this 1-year-old, 70-pound puppy that's still a puppy for another 2 years. And what am I going to do? My friends that are dog walkers and dog boarding and all of those people are so busy. And I mean, thankful that they're busy right now because they suffered during COVID.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It was tough.
Right. But the truth is that I think that we are going to start to be needed more and more because of these returns.
So you meet this dog, Heidi. You're volunteering at a shelter. You fell in love with this dog, Heidi, a basset hound kind of beagle mix. You show up and she's gone to the dog park in the sky because they euthanized her. That's the catalyst for you, Sherri Franklin of Muttville, to start fostering your own dogs. Then you get to a tipping point where you say, I have to create a shelter?
No, I think, from the very beginning, and I started before, there was Facebook and a lot of internet, and I literally put signs up for all these dogs and started adopting them out. In the meantime, I was going a little, do you see how she's like sleeping? She's awake, her eyes are open, but she's sleeping. I was going a little bit broke trying to pay all the vet bills. And I was only making a very slight dent because I could only take 1 or 2 home at a time. So slowly I decided that I needed to change my whole life and put myself really into this, and created the nonprofit, learned everything from reading books and going to, seminars. There wasn't Facebook. I mean, there wasn't all of the ways that we get the word out about an animal that needs help. I mean, now you see people coming out of the woodwork to help, animals and also volunteer. Like if we wrote up in Facebook, we said, need volunteers, we'd get a whole bunch. But back then it was all word of mouth.
And this was coming out of your own pocket. And what was the first tipping point where you went, oh, good, I'm going to be okay. People are going to help. Waiting for that.
I don't know when that happened. Somebody else asked me that. And I remember, I think we got a check for $2,000 from somebody. And I was like, I can pay our vet bill at one vet, because that veterinary care was, and still is, sort of our biggest line item in our budget. But, now we're saving 1,000 dogs a year. And that first year we only saved 27, which I thought was huge, and now we're saving over 1,000 a year. So,
hi, baby Snowball.
She woke up, but I think she's heading back to sleep. Oh,
if you want to put her down, I know that you don't have to. I just love moving her, but you do.
Okay, I think she's totally, she's kind of stacking out in my arms.
But sometimes you find angels like yourself, Sherri, because are you at?
Yeah, I'm somebody's bringing and putting down a dog next to me, and she might bark, so I might have to pick her up.
This is real.
Doesn't matter. It's live. It's Facebook.
What are talking about? Of course. And then I'm going to show a few dogs that were on your site before I let you go. It's interesting. So, like I said, there's many angels out there. Before Rocket, I had a dog, a Wheaton Terrier. And of course, I went through the rescue. So I waited months and months for Wheaton to come and be available. And when I got her, she was gray, and all her paws, the pads were raw. And her owner had wanted to euthanize her. And the vet said, absolutely not. She went on the rescue, and I got her at 4.5. So she wouldn't have been a senior. She was middle-aged. Oh, she can't do this, she can't do that. The owner said, I got her running and hiking 6 miles. The pads, you just got to watch when she started to have a little, what was it? Could it be the food? We did an elimination, add this back in. And I said to the vet, I said, I'm a comedian and a writer. Like, I don't know how, I'm scared. This is financially daunting. Don't you worry. We do as much by email, she was from Belgium, as possible. I will make this happen for you. It will be okay. It will be okay. And then she would help me. And then I go for the big checkup,
Yeah.
And to this day, we're like Facebook friends, and she's now up in Montreal, but she helped me save her. And I had her till she was 13 and a half.
So great. By the way, we have a Wheaton right now, a Wheaton mix.
My head's going to explode. You have a Wheaton?
She's a Wheaton mix, but
God.
mostly Wheaton Terrier, maybe with Tibetan Terrier mixed in.
Oh, they look so similar. What's her name? You don't know yet.
I just it's not coming to my mind right now. But
Mabel. We're calling her Mabel. And
Okay.
how old is? We don't know how old Mabel is yet, but I got to see.
I don't. I think she's 9.
I love Mabel. Okay. All right. I got to see and talk to you about this. So I want to just, I know your dogs get fostered and adopted very quickly, but I went to the website and put a few up there so people can get a sense of the type of dogs you have there. And these, sometimes they come as a pair. And I think it's important, if they're put up for adoption as a pair, they should go home as a pair because they're each other's family. And so here we have Miss Piggy and Kermit.
So cute.
Oh my goodness, these are right off the lips.
I guess you can figure out who Miss Piggy is and who Kermit is.
And you know, they may still be up for adoption. I know that you guys update your website regularly, but it's not hour to hour, so you can't always know. But there are going to be other cutie patooties there. We have Pollyanna. Are you looking at that face? You can't take it, can you?
No.
No. We have Boom Boom, and Boom Boom doesn't dance with poles. But what is Boom Boom like? It looks like a lab kind of mix, doesn't it?
He's like a lab mastiff. He's pretty big. He is a gentle giant. He is great with children and really wonderful with all dogs, big and small.
I love him.
He's a couch potato kind of dog.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's gorgeous. And then what was Pollyanna? She's like a terrier mix.
Yeah, we get a lot of sort of mystery mutts, you know, terrier-esque. We make up names for them sometimes. But yeah, she's definitely some sort of terrier, I think, and maybe some schnauzer. She kind of has that look too.
Oh, those big brown eyes. And this is Millie, a hospice dog.
Yes, she is.
And
yeah.
Millie looks like a cute little what? What would you say she looks like?
I think she's a Yorkie poo.
A Yorkie poo. A Yorkie, and she, I know, has a little bit of the hearing and the eyesight issues, but they say she navigates beautifully, and she just wants, these dogs want tons of love. That's what they want.
That's all. That's all.
And this beauty wine drinker you can't have, because that was my Rocket, and he has gone to the dog park in the sky with Cody Bear and Maxie Doodlebug, who wasn't a doodle, but everybody thought she was, so I called her Maxie Doodlebug. If you want to support Muttville, so when you're saying you're doing this new campus, you're buying your own building?
Yes, we bought a building. It's in the Mission District. It's about 6 blocks from where we are right now. We're in the process of working with and getting everything ready for our permitting process so that we can build our magical new space that will be able to do community outreach, humane education, our Seniors for Seniors programming, of course, and saving tons of dogs.
Talk to me, but I can't let you go without telling me what the Senior for Seniors program is.
Sure. It's one of our favorite programs. We've been doing it for a while. First of all, we waive fees for seniors and have very special adoption counselors, matchmakers that work with our seniors to adopt. But we also have something we call Cuddle Club. And Cuddle Club is for seniors that cannot have a dog, or live someplace where they can't have a dog, or physically they're too challenged to have a dog. And we invite them in, and I call them volunteers. They volunteer for a couple hours by cuddling the dogs. And a lot of these seniors are very isolated. They've been, they don't have a lot of friends. They love dogs. They don't have a dog anymore. And they've really created a community. They start to know each other. Then they walk the dogs, and it's so cute because some of them will even have a wheelchair or a walker, and the dogs walk slowly with them. It's really magical and wonderful to see.
And I would also say to people too, because this came to my mind during the pandemic, sometimes people in your neighborhood get older and they have a dog, and it's nice to just knock on their door and ask if you can help them, because I've had that incident of very, very well, healthy older woman, but her leg has an issue, so she can't walk her dog. And it's just nice to be able to help each other, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's really, dogs heal and bring us so much love and kindness into this world that we need to be there for them. They're always there for us.
Well, you're going to have to keep me posted on Snowball,
I will.
and you got to send me a picture of the Wheaton mix. And those of you listening, you must go to muttville.org. Support if you can, whether you want to be a volunteer. If you're not in San Francisco, maybe you make a donation, or at the very least, you get inspired anywhere you are in America to go and take in a senior dog. Sherri, thank you, darling.
Thank you. Are you kidding me? I miss you to death. Let's get together when you're in town.
Damn right, sister. All right, you take care. And bye, Snowball. Oh, you guys, that was wonderful. I just adore her, and I hope you can support. Go see what they're doing at muttville.org. Next week, I have Nicole Doze. I hope I'm saying her last name correctly, D-O-Z. She is a New York City sanitation worker and a beauty pageant queen. Now, you know I am the daughter of a New York City sanitation worker. I'm so excited to talk with her. So stay tuned for that. Please subscribe, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, all of that, any of those major audio platforms. It would help a lot. Give a good review on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and please consider subscribing on Patreon, Patreon, or donating at PayPal or Venmo, making a little donation at Mo Langen. And again, you need a host, you need a comedian, you need a keynote speaker. Check out my new website, maureenlangen.com. And you know the deal. Until we meet again, I have to find my right graphic. Bye, wig.